I spoke to the mother of one F-18 pilot who flew the March 15th mission over the Red Sea in Yemen that you discussed over Signal. I spoke to her again on Tuesday and asked her if there was anything she wanted me to bring up. She believes that you need to resign. She also had several questions, but one thing, she said she would appreciate an apology for putting classified information. Her son couldn't even tell her where the Truman was going, but into the Houthi PC small group Signal chat that risked her son's life and the mission. Mr. Secretary, yes or no, do you think you owe her an apology?
Please make sure to let her know how grateful we are for the skill and heroism of her son.
I am very much grateful. I'm sure everybody in this room is grateful. I'm proud of what her son has done. The question is, do you owe her an apology for your actions? Are you going to be accountable?
It was an incredibly successful mission. Her son did great work.
They did a magnificent job.
Thankfully, the Houthi campaign was successful.
Secretary, I agree with you. Magnificent job. The performance of those pilots and Navy personnel, magnificent. We're talking about what you did and accountability. Are you going to apologize to the mother or not?
I don't apologize for success.
You don't apologize for putting her son's life in danger and for putting the mission in jeopardy. Well, that's really disappointing and not befitting the type of leadership that our troops and families deserve. It's frankly a stunning lack of OPSEC. Privates are trained to do much better than that. It was reckless. And it sounds like that accountability doesn't extend as far as the Secretary of Defense. So I think you should resign. The mother says she wants you gone.
Vindman just told Pete Hegseth what no Secretary of Defense wants to hear. A military mom wants him to resign. Her son flew the mission Hegseth discussed on Signal, and she believes he puts lives at risk. Vindman asked a simple question: do you owe her an apology? Hegseth refused to answer and apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record an article. A distinguished member of this committee,
without objection, so ordered,
confirmed that there was, in fact, a pause in offensive cyber operations earlier this year. The SecDef just denied this. This committee deserves to know whether the Secretary just lied. Mr. Secretary, many believed you were underqualified for this role. You've been Secretary for 4.5 months now. For the sake of the American people and our service members, I hope you've done your homework since. Let's talk Indo-PACOM. What year has the Navy publicly set as the benchmark for being ready to fight a war with China?
Well, it needs to be right now. We know what China has said.
I'm glad to hear that, but there is a publicly
right
set date.
Well, we know it wouldn't be prudent for me in this environment to reveal when we think we're ready. That's what China has said, and we understand what they're saying.
I
we
asked
want to
for
be
a year,
capable and ready for it.
Not a filibuster. 2027 is the year. According to unclassified DoD assessments, how many warships does China have in its Navy today?
Many and growing.
370. It's the largest Navy in the world. How many does the U.S. Navy have today?
Thanks to this budget, it's increasing
it's a number.
substantially.
I'm looking for a number.
But it's just south of 300.
296, pretty close. How many ships is China expected to field by 2030?
I believe that's a classified number, but it's going to go up
DoD
at a rapid rate.
CMPR report that was released. There's an unclassified number.
It's going up at a rapid rate.
Let me help you out. 435. Let's see if we do better in EUCOM. What corridor in eastern Poland is vulnerable and a priority for U.S. reinforcements? It connects Belarus to a Russian region.
I'm sure you can tell me.
I can tell you. It's the Suwalki Gap. Which heavily militarized Russian territory connected the Suwalki Gap? It contains nuclear-capable missiles. It threatens all of NATO. It's right there in the middle of Eastern Europe.
I see we're playing a quiz game here.
It's
ultimately,
Kaliningrad
thankfully,
Oblast.
we're getting our NATO allies to step up in their spending to make sure that they can hold the
Mr.
line.
Secretary, I asked you a specific question. Thank you. It's Kaliningrad Oblast. So what percentage of Ukrainian frontline casualties, let's talk drones, are now caused by FPV drones?
A very large percentage, and we're studying that conflict closely to understand
I hope so.
that fact.
It's over 70%. And which U.S. service has written doctrine or standardized procurement for integration of FPV drones?
That's the Army.
I wish that were the case, but actually the answer is none of them. So we're not prepared yet, and we need to get there fast.
Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, someone who understands military structure, intelligence protocols, and chain of command responsibility more intimately than nearly anyone in Congress, used his allotted time to cut past political niceties and ask the kind of direct, reality-based questions that matter when evaluating a Secretary of Defense. It's important to pause and understand why Vindman approached this the way he did. A Secretary of Defense doesn't merely hold a bureaucratic title. The position oversees the safety of service members, dictates how the U.S. prepares for emerging global threats, and directly influences whether the country is ready or unprepared when conflict breaks out. That's not symbolic. That is literal life and death responsibility. Vindman's questioning exposed something deeper than a knowledge gap. It revealed the weight of a job that demands depth, precision, and mastery, not broad gestures and political rhetoric. Every time he asked a factual question, a date, a number, a known vulnerability, a region essential to NATO strategy, the secretary struggled to answer. These weren't trick questions. These were foundational, unclassified details that defense leaders are expected to know cold. The exchange highlighted something viewers may not fully appreciate. Congress uses these moments not to embarrass nominees, but to assess whether senior leaders are technically and strategically literate. If they aren't, that vacuum of knowledge becomes a national security risk. And Vindman's frustration came not from partisanship, but from the realization that service members depend on leaders who understand the full picture, the capabilities of China's Navy, the vulnerabilities of Eastern Europe, the changing landscape of modern warfare. And one of the most consequential topics Vindman raised was drone warfare. FPV drones aren't a theoretical tool, they're redefining battlefields and rapidly increasing casualty rates. Vindman's question about the percentage of frontline Ukrainian casualties now caused by drones wasn't academic, it was a warning. If the U.S. military still has no standardized doctrine for integrating that technology, then we're learning too slowly from a war happening in real time. He framed this not as a political failure, but as a systemic one that the Secretary of Defense should be addressing urgently. But where the hearing took its most emotional turn was when Vindman relayed the words of a mother of an FA-18 pilot, a mother whose child participated in a highly sensitive mission. Her concern wasn't abstract, it was personal, raw, rooted in fear for her son's safety. She believed the secretary had mishandled classified information in a way that endangered service members. And when she asked for something as human as an apology, Vindman gave her voice space in the hearing. It was an extraordinary moment, a reminder that behind strategies and numbers and committee hearings are real people with families who live with the consequences of national security decisions. Vindman wasn't looking for theatrics, he was looking for accountability. He asked a direct question, do you owe her an apology? And the refusal to give one, on the grounds that the mission was successful, revealed a stark difference in how the two men viewed responsibility. Vindman was looking for humility and recognition of human cost. What he got instead was deflection. That's why his closing words carried weight. When he said that accountability doesn't extend as far as the Secretary of Defense, he wasn't just criticizing one person. He was highlighting a broader issue. Leadership at the highest levels must model the standards expected of the lowest ranks. If a private is trained to handle classified information with extreme caution, the Secretary of Defense should embody that discipline even more. This hearing ultimately underscored the tension between authority and accountability, competence and confidence, rhetoric and reality. Vindman's exchanges weren't about scoring points. They were about whether the country can trust its top defense official to know the threats, understand the stakes, and take responsibility for mistakes. If you're looking for more clear, thoughtful breakdowns of the moments that shape national security, political oversight, and democratic institutions, make sure you stick around. These hearings aren't just noise, they're windows into how seriously our leaders take their responsibilities, and understanding them is part of staying informed, engaged, and aware of the world our service members operate in every single day.